Imagine walking through a long hallway filled with reflections, each mirror showing a slightly different version of you. Some faces are older, some younger, some calmer, some more worn out. Some look like the person you hoped you'd become. Others look like the one you fear you might be. The reflections shift as you walk, almost as if the hallway is collecting every moment you've ever compared yourself to someone else. You don't recognize every reflection, but you recognize the feeling behind them, that quiet sense that no matter how far you've come, you should have come further. Most people carry that feeling far longer than they realize. It doesn't start with adulthood or mistakes. It starts in tiny moments that add up quietly, until one day you look back and realize you've spent years measuring yourself by standards you never chose. As you move deeper into the hallway, the mirrors fade, and you step into the first space of this journey, the room of early shadows. This room glows with soft memory light, filled with silhouettes of children doing what children do, trying, reaching, hoping. Some draw pictures, some raise their hands, some sit perfectly still. Behind them linger tall shapes, parents, teachers, adults, shadows that stretch and shift, not threatening, just present, watching, expecting. This is where many people first learn that approval is earned. That praise feels safer than disappointment. The brain doesn't know the difference between performance and worth, so it blends them together, and that feeling lingers for decades. Even if the adults meant well, even if they loved you deeply, the brain collected tiny moments. The proud smile when you succeeded, the sigh when you didn't, the pressure to be good, the fear of doing something wrong. You didn't know it then, but those moments planted the earliest seeds of the weight you still carry. And as you leave the room, the weight follows. The hall of comparison. This next place feels wider, but heavier. Screens float in the air. Silhouettes pass by. Different ages, different faces, different versions of success. Someone seems smarter. Someone stronger. Someone perfectly put together. The feeling is familiar. Comparison isn't a flaw. It's built into the human brain. Long ago, it helped people understand their place in a community. Today, it's overwhelmed. You know your fears, but only see other people's highlights, so you end up ranking yourself lower. In this hall, you see how often people compare their private struggles to someone else's polished surface. How many assume they're behind when they're simply on a different path. The hall stretches endlessly because comparison never ends. You leave it behind for a moment, but never escape it completely. The staircase of achievement. You step into a vast space where a staircase climbs into the distance, lined with trophies, medals, certificates, and symbols of accomplishment. People climb with determination. Men, women, young adults, older adults, each driven by something invisible inside them. Some climb fast. Some climb slowly. Some look back. Some don't. Every time someone reaches a platform, the staircase grows again. It never ends because the brain adapts quickly. Every achievement feels meaningful for a moment, then fades, pushing you to chase the next one. This is the hedonic treadmill. Success brings dopamine, but dopamine fades quickly. So you tell yourself you'll feel enough when you reach the next step. But the next step always becomes another starting point. You notice how easily people confuse progress with worth? How often they climb because they're afraid to stop? How often they chase a feeling that never arrives? The staircase doesn't trap them. Their beliefs do. The inner voice. In the next room, the air is still. Words float through the space like drifting dust, phrases people carry in their minds for a lifetime. You should be doing more. You're not where you should be. Everyone else is ahead. You're falling behind. You're not enough. These words aren't shouted. They whisper. And because they whisper, they're harder to notice, harder to challenge. The inner voice isn't cruel by choice. It's built from old expectations, old comparisons, old fears. It believes that if it keeps you aware of your flaws, you'll avoid failure. But instead of protecting you, it keeps you stuck in a loop that drains your confidence. You watch as different figures react to the floating words. Some shrink, some freeze, some try to outrun them. Some stand still and let the words drift past. You realize the voice doesn't disappear by achieving more. It disappears when you learn to question, who put the words there in the first place? The room of borrowed pages. This room feels like a library without walls. Shelves stretch endlessly, filled with invisible books. Each book holds a standard someone learned from the world around them, not from themselves. Some believe they must always be strong. Some believe they must be perfect. Some believe they must care for everyone before themselves. Some believe they must never rest. Some believe they must always strive, always earn, always push. As people lift the books, you notice something important. The weight isn't proportional to the size. A tiny book can feel like a burden someone has carried for 30 years. Most of these expectations didn't start with the people holding them. They came from parents, culture, communities, social pressure, or fear of judgment. Places that taught them the world rewards only the polished and exceptional. Some books glow softly, healthy expectations. Others burn brightly, unrealistic ideals never meant to be carried. Most of the pressure people carry didn't come from within. They simply learned to treat it like it did. The room of fragments. The next space is filled with floating pieces of people. The child, the teen, the adult, the version who tried too hard, the version who gave up, the version who pretended, the version who dreamed. These fragments drift gently, forming and dissolving like memories. Psychologists call this self-discrepancy, the gap between who you are, who you think you should be, and who you fear you really are. The wider these gaps, the heavier life feels. You see how often people try to be everything at once. The responsible one, the successful one, the strong one, the calm one, the perfect one. How often they switch between roles, losing themselves in the process. The fragments don't represent failure. They represent the complexity of being human, the chamber of accumulated weight. This space is dark at first, then slowly brightens enough to show silhouettes sitting quietly on benches. Men, women, and children of different ages. Some look exhausted. Some look numb. Some look like they've been carrying something invisible for a very long time. This is the weight people collect over a lifetime. The pressure to be enough, the fear of falling behind, the shame of not measuring up, the years spent comparing themselves to versions of others that never truly existed. Here, the weight is visible. You can see how it tightens shoulders, slows movement, dims the eyes. Not because people are weak, but because they were never taught to put the weight down. You sit for a moment, feeling the quiet of the room, the honesty of it, the humanity of it. And when you stand, something inside you shifts, the doorway of release. A soft glow appears ahead, revealing a doorway. Not dramatic, not grand, just open. As people walk through it, the world changes. The mirrors disappear. The expectations dissolve. The comparisons fade. The staircase stops growing. On the other side, the landscape is wide and open. Sunlight stretches across a quiet field. Trees move gently, air that feels unburdened. Here, there are no roles to play, no achievements to chase, no ranks to climb. Just people, standing, breathing, existing without judgment. In this final space, the truth becomes clear. The weight didn't make you worthy. The chase didn't make you valuable. The comparison didn't make you better. You were already enough. You just lived too many years believing you had to prove it. And for the first time, the quiet feels like freedom, not pressure. If this journey resonated with you, if it lifted even a little of the weight you've been carrying, consider subscribing. It helps this channel grow, and it tells the algorithm that content like this matters. More importantly, it helps this message reach someone who might need it today. Thanks for walking with me. See you in the next video.